What's going on, Amazon? So I wanted to hop on here real quick and give you an overview between the two controllers right here, a comparison, if you would say, between the PowerA Infinity controller versus the 8Bitdo Pro 2 controller. Both for the Xbox, both compatible with it. You can also play with both of these controllers on PC, of course, but there are a couple different differences of them. Anyways. The first one's going to be, well, the ergonomics, of course, which this one is set up more like a PlayStation style controller, if you would say, and then this controller itself is your typical Xbox controller. They do have the same buttons when it comes to like the share button and all that, because these are both made for next gen consoles. They both have the apps joysticks in them, so you're not getting no Hall effect sensors or anything like that. They both do have D-pads on them, of course, but we're definitely going to say the D-pad on the 8Bitdo is better because, well, 8Bitdo makes the best D-pad around, hands down. You do have a couple other functions on here, one being a turbo mode on the 8Bitdo itself, where you can press and set up turbo mode, and it also has another button where you can press and switch buttons around and stuff like that. Both controllers do come with back buttons on them, as you can see right here, so they work pretty well themselves. They ergonomically feel good and stuff. Now the PowerA controller, the Spectrum Infinity controller, is going to come with trigger stops on them, where the 8Bitdo does not have trigger stops on them. You have two levels, on, off, and then like mid for the PowerA controller itself. And as well as another difference on the controller is the 8Bitdo, you cannot take the cable off. It's attached to the controller always, where the PowerA controller doesn't. But you do have to have a special cable to fit into this little square right here to protect. It's there to protect the port itself, so you're not bending the cable and stuff in the port while you're playing and stuff. But you do have to have that special controller there. The other difference on this controller is, well, this has RGB lights on it all the way around and stuff like that. But you do get that as well. When it comes to triggers and stuff on them, they both feel pretty good. You got a little more of a clickier sound on the PowerA Spectrum Infinity versus the 8Bitdo itself. They both do have the 3.5mm jacks on the bottom of them. You have a mute button right here to control that, the 8Bitdo controller with, and then you have the volume right here to control with up and down, and then if you press it in, the light will turn red once you have a controller plugged up with a headset inside, and it will mute the controller that way. The other big difference on this controller is this actually comes with what they call the ultimate software, where you can download it to your cell phone or to the PC or something like that and set this controller up any way you would like it. Not just the back buttons, the front buttons, the D-pad, the triggers, all that good stuff, dead zones, all that good stuff is in this, where you don't have none of that with this controller. This is more as just a basic straight to the point controller, where you have the basics with the back buttons, the trigger stops, RGB lights if you're into that, and that's pretty much it. So that's the comparison of both the controllers. Hopefully that helps you make your buying decision here on Amazon much more pleasant and easier to do. See you guys in the next video. Peace.